Thematic investing has been developed to help investors access what BlackRock says are second-order effects of so-called megatrends, or powerful forces that could transform the global economy, business and society. With an update on one specific area today, we're looking at digitalisation with Rob Powell, investment strategist at BlackRock. Well, Rob, welcome. First of all, give us an idea of how digitalisation fits into the grand scheme of things.
So digitalisation is all about accessing the technological breakthrough megatrend. So it's really about companies that are altering their business models. This reflects the fact that the world is moving from a paper-based society to an internet-based society. And this theme is all about gaining access to companies that are actually going to benefit from that theme going forwards.
Talking about the internet, in fact, this has come up recently, of course, with the Trump election, and there's been a lot of allegations about cyber hacking within the internet to try and divert results or trying to influence certain corners of society. How does this fit in? Is this a big element for you?
Absolutely. So cybersecurity is a key theme within our digitalisation bucket, if you like. I think it's super interesting that the CIA said that they had 100% certainty that the Russians had intervened in the US election with regard to hacking and altering the result potentially. So if this does anything, it's just going to raise the profile of cybersecurity and the need for businesses, countries to actually invest heavily in the space to protect themselves for potential attacks in future.
And I know something you mentioned in the World Economic Forum. They were talking about cyber dependency and how dependent we are now all on what we call interconnectivity through the internet.
Yeah, that is one of the World Economic Forum's key themes that they've highlighted before Davos. So they publish a report every year called the Global Risks Report. And one of their themes, as you said, is cyber dependency, increasing cyber dependency. So they say that it's an increasingly risky situation because we are so interconnected, and that businesses, people, countries are interconnected in ways that they haven't been before, and we need to protect the world against potential meltdown in the space caused by that interconnectivity.
So how do you get exposure then to this cyber dependency, the cyber problem?
So I suppose all companies to a certain extent are or have been changing their business models as this theme really takes hold. Everybody is having to improve their internet capability. But there are certain companies that are really changing their whole space. So digital disruption is taking hold in lots of different ways, in lots of different areas. So if you think about Amazon, which is a key company within the digitalisation theme, over the last month we saw the high-profile launch of their first Amazon store, where you actually have minimal human interaction. You walk into a store, you pick up your product off the shelf, like you would in a traditional supermarket, but there's no checkout. It all just gets done through your card. That's a good example of digital disruption and how companies are actually changing industries.
There's also another example, I think, in your notes here. You talk about Netflix, which I think was one of the better performers in the fourth quarter. And subsequent to the fourth quarter, it's come out with some amazing numbers in terms of subscribers, which has really pushed its share price up again, another leg higher. Another big disruptor, isn't it, in terms of content, the provision of content for clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you think about companies like Blockbuster that used to be around in the 90s and the early 2000s, they don't exist anymore because of companies like Netflix. So another example of digital disruption. Netflix itself is actually having to continue to develop away from its traditional business model. So it used to make all of its money out of subscribers, and now it's actually creating original content. So think House of Cards, for example, that's created by Netflix production company. And that means that they can really take their business forward and improve their earnings like we've been seeing in the recent past.
How do you see 2017 developing?
Well, I suppose with all the recent developments that we've seen within this theme, with regard to it broadening out from companies focusing on digitalising their business models to actual policymakers focusing on things like this, there's no reason why the trend can't continue to develop in future, and maybe we're actually going to see an acceleration in the development of this theme this year.
Rob, we've got to leave it there, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Rob Powell from BlackRock there, taking a look at Q4 and some of the trends that have gone on within the thematic investing space.